not under the influence of anyone or anything. He is an existential threat to the system, if you want to put quotes around that, the system in Washington, D.C., and he is a threat to both sides of the aisle, because the Republicans are every bit as culpable in the notion of being on the take as anybody else. And I think that one of the things interestingly, I had this conversation last night at dinner with someone who was very much not a Trump person, and we're asking questions about a lot of this, and I went through the process, and I said, look, here is the way the system is. This is the way the system works. And when you bring someone in and an administration in that is more focused on doing what is best for the American people rather than doing what is best for the United States Chamber of Commerce, you are going to have some issues. And I think that is the real reason that the people like Pelosi and others take great exception to Donald Trump is because, and the other part of it is that Trump at his core is a very conservative individual. It may not seem that way, but if you scratch the paint off of that veneer there, he is very much a very strong conservative underneath everything.
Oh, I think you're right, Sam. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Our guest is Sam Clovis, and I just asked Sam why some people seem to fear and loathe Donald Trump. I would like to add to that by saying that Trump knows how to beat them. He will beat them, and they know it.
Well, he uses a brickbat. I mean,
he does, doesn't he?
There was no gentleness to it. We came in there swinging, and that was our goal. We from the moment that we knew that we had won the election until he left the presidency, his main goal in life was to go in and to deconstruct the what was really evil. The people in D.C. are not, by and large, I hate overgeneralizing, but I will. They're not good people. These are people who do not have the best interest of America at heart. They have their own interest at heart. They have the interest of a particular ideology at heart. They're not about to entertain the notion that someone comes in and does not want to play by the rules of the game. This is, and Donald Trump did not and will not play by the rules of the game.
No, he certainly will not. And I kind of liked his style. Obviously, a lot of people did. I heard Chuck Dodd, that little twerp that's on MSNBC Sunday morning, asked rhetorically if this was the end of bourgeois values in politics. And I thought to myself, I sure as hell hope so.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know what that means. And,
well, it means that politicians have dropped any pretense of they're not going to refer to each other as the fine gentlewoman or the fine gentleman from the great state of whatever. Sure. They're going to say that jerk over there who doesn't know what they're talking about.
Well, but that's been going on for a long time, and I do think that a lot of it is theatrics. A lot of it is kabuki dance. All you have to do is watch the U.S. Senate. If you want to see something that's fully orchestrated, every maneuver on the floor, every vote, everything is decided ahead of time, and it's a matter of pure theater.
It is.
They expect us to be ignorant of the fact that it is theater, and I think that this is what the people in Washington and media expect. They expect to be able to show this sleight of hand, to be able to go out there and present whatever it is they want to present. And at the end of the day, we're expected to swallow it and just say, okay, yeah, okay, whatever you say, and then go along with it. And they don't know what to do when there's pushback. They really don't. Their reaction is usually violent. Their reaction is usually over the top rhetoric, and we see that on both sides. And anytime anybody pushes back, and I think this is the one area where the American people really do have the ability to go out and reclaim the notion that of popular sovereignty, to get government to work for the people again. And I don't think we're very far from the American people telling their elected officials to pack sand.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think the secession movement is very real in this country. I think the secession movement is very real in this country. I'm not afraid of that either. I'm not. But I really feel sorry for these guys in jail, been there for months, arrested for the insurrection January the 6th.
Right.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of guys who are like the people that showed up at Washington, D.C. They're more of a danger to themselves than they are to the government. They're just a bunch of people filled with fury. And some of them, they struck at a symbol of their oppression. And I believe that. I believe mostly they struck at a symbol of oppression. That would be certainly the U.S. government and certainly Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was scared out of her wits. You could still hear it in her voice to this day, because there were some of the people who appeared in the halls of Congress January the 6th with plastic handcuffs, and they were walking through the hallways calling her name. She was scared to death. They were going to place her under arrest. Now, these guys were misguided. I don't support the belief that Trump ordered them to Washington, D.C. to overthrow the government. And I don't think there was any serious intent to overthrow the government.
No, not at all.
Even 50,000 people can't do that. They're just, somebody needed to call out the army, and that would have been the end of it. But they didn't. The point being is that these guys are being used as pawns. This guy from Des Moines, who chased an officer up the stairs, I think he's paid for his crime. And to charge these guys with these horrific crimes misses their intent and who they are. But it's the meanness inherent of the Democratic Party, mainly, and the fear of Nancy Pelosi, the terror that she really thinks that these guys are emblematic or symbolic of a larger problem of some kind. How do you see these guys, and how do you see the trials that they're going through now?
Well, I first off, I think that anybody that did what they did, honestly, had their head up their butts. There was really. I don't get. I don't understand that kind of thinking. I don't
really either. I don't either.
It's just hard for me to get my head around it. And and based on that notion, there are ways to protest that are far more effective than sitting there and storming the ramparts. I just don't see the point of that. Those that did that, they're probably paying a pretty heavy price for that right now. And I am not sure whether it's just or not. I think justice will figure out the justice aspect of this at some point in the not too distant future. The thing that I think is more concerning is what you brought up, and that's the fact that politicians have such rank fear of anyone who might protest. And I think that there has to be a reason for them to be that afraid. And I think that the reason that they're that afraid is that I think they're afraid that they're going to be found out.
That's it.
And I really do. I really think that politicians, both sides of the aisle. The reason that they are so concerned about any protests in Washington, D.C. is the fact that it may get publicity and it may show up as that we find that our government officials may not be as honest as they purport to be.
Well, that's the understatement of the day there, Sam Clovis.
Well, it could be. Yeah, could be. Yeah.
No, listen, I'm sure I can speak for Sam Clovis when I say that as conservative people, we have nothing in common with a guy who would show up in the U.S. Congress halls wearing a pair of buffalo horns with a gigantic tattoo on his chest.
Nope.
I don't know anybody like that, Sam. Do you play cards with anybody like that? Because I don't.
No, I don't. I don't know anybody like that, and I don't
want to know anybody like that. The QAnon people. Too much is made of these QAnon people. There's always some disturbed people out there, left and right or in between. I mean, there's way too much made of it, I do not identify with any people who chase cops upstairs or any of those things. Still got that lung problem, Samuel?
Well, no, just a little bit of the frog in the throat here.
Okay, all right. Well, I know you're coming off a stretch with COVID, and you're an older man as I am. So if I'm wearing you out here, just tell me.
Well, it would probably behoove me to get off the phone right now so I can clear my throat.
Well, we'll do that, Sam. And you brought a great deal of insight again to our program. And I look forward to talking with you again next Monday.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for that.
During the season of giving, you might give away more than you want.
Sweater for